Good morning, grandkids. Today it's time to read another chapter of Dorkly, the Young Wizard. I don't even have my microphone down here. This is chapter 31. Dorkly reached Longport and stabled Cheesy, then walked on to the room that he kept and settled up with the man at the front desk and went upstairs. He walked into his room and started putting what few pieces of clothing he had there into a bundle, which he would tie onto the back of his saddle on Cheesy. He then walked over to the window and looked down at the street. The sun was shining. A few people were hurrying toward the market. He looked at the window across the street from him, and his interest there was always the birds. Every spring the same bird returned to build a nest in the corner of the windowsill. She raised 2 or 3 birds every year. He had enjoyed keeping an eye on them from time to time. Maybe he could get him a bird to keep in his spire. I wonder if the king would let me, he said. I wonder if I could keep one without him knowing. Nah, he knows everything, he chuckled. He turned and left the room, dropping his key on the desk downstairs as he left. He decided he would mosey around town for just a bit. He had to get back to the palace soon. He was standing looking in a shop window at the bottles of potions that were on display. He wondered out loud, I wonder if I should get some. I don't think you should, he heard in a lovely, soft voice. He turned, and there stood Cindy. He smiled, showing his dimples. Why not? He asked. I've heard talk that the shop owner opens them, dilutes them, and one bottle winds up making 2, she said. He turned back to the window, staring. Maybe I should have the king send a guard to haul the man into court. Maybe you should, she replied. He turned back to her. I'm very happy that you stopped, Cindy. I was hoping that I'd see you. I wanted to talk to you for a minute, if I may. Sure, she said. She's not hurrying away from him now. She was looking so lovely in a white and pink print dress and those blonde curls. He hated to tell her anything sad. Well, maybe she wouldn't care, but he certainly did. Cindy, I wanted to let you know that I won't be around like I have been. Her eyes opened wider as she said, Why ever not? My father, who has always been the court wizard to the king, passed away. I now have to take his place. So my days being able to be out running about is suddenly over. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Dorkly. Wow, Dorkly thought. That's the first time she's said my name. Thank you, Cindy. Are you going to be here in Longport for long? A couple of weeks. So you won't be in Binderbong again? She asked. I suppose once in a great while. I'll be having a lot more duties. Look, I still want to see you. Would you be willing for me to send a carriage for you sometime to bring you to Blue Spire? That's the town's name outside of the palace, but you probably know that. And I'm rambling, he said, with a dimpled smile and a blush. It would be fun for me showing you around the town. You know, she said, I'd enjoy that, Dorkly, and she smiled at him. Dorkly thought he might faint. He was so happy. Well, that makes me happy. I don't know how soon we can get together, but I'll be looking forward to it. It's going to be so much better than around those giggling girls on the beach. And he laughed. She smiled and said, "You're right about that, and I apologize for them." Dorkly reached out and took her hand, raising it to his lips. "I hate to leave you, Cindy, but I do have to get back to the palace. I'll be looking forward to our next meeting." And he kissed her lovely hand and turned away. His heart was soaring and his blue eyes were sparkling. He was almost dancing as he hurried to the stables to pick up Cheesy. He needed to get back home. Eventually, he rode up to the stables outside of town in the palace, and he jumped off his horse and pulled some cheese out of his pocket and held it out for Cheesy. "I think that she might really like me now, Cheesy. What do you think?" Cheesy rolled his eyes and swished his tail around. Dorkly didn't know if that showed he was agreeing or was loving his cheese. Dorkly laughed and rubbed Cheesy's soft nose. "I think she's coming around to liking me." He wondered if a king's personal wizard could marry. Well, of course they can. No wonder my name's Dorkly. My dad married and they had me. He left Cheesy and walked on toward the gates. He looked up at the guards on the wall and gave them the finger. "I forgot to do that when I left today," he called up to them. "My mind was on other things." They laughed and told him he must have been thinking about a girl. He went on through the gate and then walked up the steps to the top of the wall. "Nah, I wasn't thinking about a girl then. You guys probably heard about my dad." "Yeah, we've all heard. Really sorry, Dorkly. Some of the guards are going to be picked to take part in the service. Don't know if any of the wall guards will, though. So are you going to take your dad's place with the king?" "Yes, I will. It's sure going to be different. I won't be coming and going much," Dorkly said. "Well, we'll miss getting flipped off by that finger of yours," and they all busted out laughing. "Well, it's been a while since you wouldn't open that gate for me, so I should probably stop that anyway." And he smiled, showing his dimple. "Until you think of something to tick me off with again." He laughed and hurried down the steps. He quickly went through the town and entered the palace gates. He started toward his spire, but changed his mind and went to the sanctuary where the priest conducted services. When he walked in, the lights were dim and no one was around. He walked down the aisle and stepped into one of the pews and dropped to his knees. He asked for blessings for his dad's soul. He then asked that he himself would have strength and knowledge to fulfill his duty to the king and be able to be of good help to him. So that's the end of this chapter for this time, and we shall see what's going to be happening to Dorkly later on. And everybody else, I guess. So I will talk to all of you kids later. See you in the next video. See you in the next vlog. Wherever I am on here, I hope you will be also. Bye-bye now.